Welcome, everybody, to the Retirement Power Hour podcast. My name is Joe Allaria, and this is episode 11. Today, as you can see, I'm going to be joined by Kevin English. Kevin is the founder of the Silver Edge Fitness Program and also the host of the Over 50 Health and Wellness podcast. Kevin, thank you so much for joining the show.
Yeah, Joe, I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
So this is a little bit of a change up, Kevin, from what we usually talk about. We're talking about money, but as I said in the intro, you focus a lot on helping people with their physical fitness, but it's not everyone. It's people that are in that 50 plus age demographic, and we focus on helping people's finances, but not necessarily for everybody. It's for those people that are 50 plus. So that was something that when I saw your podcast, I'm like, well, we really have that in common. And wouldn't it be great to overlap and do some, a collaboration on our podcast? Because, your physical fitness it impacts a lot of things in your life, and it can impact your finances, which we'll get to in just a little bit. So yeah. I thought that'd be really fun and a good change up for our audience to have you come on and just talk about some things that are definitely going to be relevant to them because they are mostly all in that demographic, 50 plus. So what made you kind of focus on that demographic, if I could ask?
Yeah, so I had my own health and fitness journey. I had a health scare a little over a decade ago. I was in my mid 40s. I thought I was having a heart attack. It turns out I wasn't, but I just let myself get so incredibly unhealthy. And I kind of looked around and said, this can't be as good as it gets in my 40s, right? At the time, right. I just, I was overweight. I was eating like crap. I was drinking. My stress was through the roof. My kids were still in the house. And from the outside, it seemed like things were going pretty good. I was very successful in my career and I had a nice house, a nice car and all that good stuff. But just my health had really hit rock bottom. And I decided, okay, I want to do something about this. And that really set me off on this journey. Fast forward a few years later, and I found myself over all those years of experimenting and researching and trying to figure out what should I eat? How should I work out? What's the best way? And I found myself rolling into my 50s as fit and as healthy and as strong and as capable as I've ever been in my entire life. Sure. And of course, that's pretty motivating, right? It's just a complete opposite from where I was in my 40s. And I thought, okay, where's my tribe? Where's my community? Where are these other men and women over 50 that are fit and strong and in fact in the best shapes of their lives? And in my little local community, I didn't see that. Yes. I didn't have that community. So, I decided, hey, let me look on the web, basically. Just kind of have that larger pool of folks. Turns out there's tons of people in their 50s, 60s, 70s that are very strong, very fit, very into fitness in general. And I just wanted to connect with that community. So that's why I started over a couple of years ago now, my podcast, because I really wanted to talk to other people that were excited about that.
Yes.
So that's kind of how I got so passionate about this particular audience and doing what I'm doing today.
Awesome. Yeah. And our mission here is to help people invest wiser and retire better. And the retire better part, it can be financial, but it's really every area of your retirement life. And that's why, again, this is so cool to have you on here because retiring better, you can't retire better if you're unhealthy, you're not feeling well. And we really are passionate about helping our listeners and helping our clients here at Carson Allaria Wealth Management retire better and live a better retirement. Finances are just one part of that. So I'm excited to get in and talk about some of this stuff today.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, I'll jump in there and say, all the wealth building in the world won't buy health, right? So I feel like this is a perfect discussion to have because you're working with your clients and your audience. Hey, let's be responsible. Let's build this wealth. Let's have a retirement plan, right? Yes. And I would make this the case that as these people are investing financially for their future, they should also be investing in their physiological future, right? Their health, because that's something that no amount of money is going to buy. Clearly, having access to finances to take care of your health or ill health as it may be as you age is important. But doing the preventative things to roll into your 50s, to be healthy, your 60s, your 70s, into that
Yeah.
retirement age, and to be, again, strong and capable of doing the things you want to do, I think is really important.
And your mission, just briefly, it struck me that it's not, doesn't have to be, it's all downhill from here. You get to, right?
100%. Yeah. I've kind of railing against that common narrative that, hey, look, you hit 50, it's just all downhill from here. Just accept that the aches, the pains, the beer belly, the lower libido, you're just not as strong, mobile, fit as you used to be.
Right.
Yeah. Nope, not buying it.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about some of this. What does a healthy life look like for a 50 plus year old, or, wherever you want to start, working out, nutrition? Maybe just talk about what does that look like? Where does someone start?
Yeah. So, everybody's unique and you want to meet people where they are. So that's the first thing, right? But I like to think of healthy aging as a three-legged stool, right? And a stool's got to have the three legs in order to be a functioning stool. And that first leg, we could say, is nutrition. And there's so much information around nutrition and diet, which one's the best. And we can really cut through a lot of that clutter with just a couple very simple, basic principles. And that is, eat as much whole foods as you can, right? Avoid all the processed crap. Prioritize good, lean, healthy protein. That's very critical, specifically for those folks over 50 for a couple of different reasons. And that second stool is going to be movement, right? So that exercise, as we age, you may be familiar with the term sarcopenia that gets thrown around a lot in the news. It's age-related muscle loss, and osteopenia. That's that bone density weakening. And these are lifestyle things that we can affect profoundly with strength training. So having some sort of strength training, as well as some sort of a walk, a daily movement. Say walking is a great daily movement practice to have. So some sort of strength training, some sort of walking ritual. And then that third leg of that stool is going to be your lifestyle factors. And here we're talking about things like managing stress. We all have stress. And in this day and age, we probably have chronic stress, right? And our bodies react to stress in a very unhealthy biological way. So having a way, although we might not be able to control the stress, we can certainly control how we manage it. And also sleep. A lot of people just kind of, especially some of your type A go-getters, they discount the power of sleep, but some really wonderful restorative things happen while we're getting that healthy sleep. So there you go. Lifestyle, nutrition, and some sort of movement practice. You get those three dialed in and you're hitting all the basics.
And again, here we go with that overlap, because a lot of times in our financial planning process and retirement planning, we find that it does lower that stress level, because your finances is one of the biggest areas of stress and causes for stress.
Yep.
And when people don't have a financial plan, boom, that stress goes through the roof, especially when you get closer to retirement. So that's great, because I'm hearing you say that, I'm like, well, it's not all financial, related in terms of stress and where it comes from, but a lot of it can come from there. But let's talk about nutrition, because this is something that I don't focus on. And again, I'm not the expert. So you talk about nutrition being one of those legs of that three-legged stool. And I see in my line of work, I do see, folks getting older. I see trends like with type 2 diabetes, coming and happening as you get closer to retirement. And that triggers people that have to take certain medications. And then, like I said, there's a financial impact. Then sometimes maybe someone needs life insurance and we can't even get it, or they end up paying a lot more because they're on these medications, their blood sugar levels are too high. Maybe they have gained weight. Talk a little bit about, when it comes to nutrition, I think a lot of people think like, I don't want to have to do some crazy diet, but what are the little things that can really make a big impact there?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Thanks for asking that. So there are some little things that can make a huge impact. And to your point, there is a financial impact to these lifestyle diseases, right? That's your type 2 diabetes, your a lot of your cholesterol and your your high blood pressure, things like that are within your control. We can control those largely through our lifestyle. Again, that's going to be your nutrition, your exercise, and
Right.
your lifestyle factors. But with the nutrition piece, so there's a couple of really simple things people can take away today. And the first is just drink more water. And a good rule of thumb is to drink half your body weight in ounces every day. And most people might be surprised. You take a 200-pound guy, that's 100 ounces of water a day. There you go. Got your water right there.
I'm
I
working
don't
on it.
yeah, don't go anywhere without my water as well. So that's a simple one. Everybody can start. Let's get a good hydration practice. Now, along with that, a good rule of thumb is to eliminate or reduce drinking calories. So most of the calories that we drink are garbage calories. So fruit juice is, newsflash, it's not healthy, right? You'd be much better served by either eating fruit or drinking water. So trying not to have those sugary drinks or alcohol drinks clearly add up to your calorie count. And the other big thing we can do is really try and eliminate those really highly ultra processed foods. These things are just hyper palatable, meaning they're delicious, right? They're scientifically designed to elicit responses and they have very few nutrients in them typically, and they don't leave you feeling full very long. So figuring out ways that you can eat more real whole foods would be the other big tip I would say on the nutrition side.
So I'm the sugar police in my house. That's what my wife calls me, the sugar
Okay.
police. So we have two young kids, and I'm very cognizant of how much sugar everyone is having. But the reason I bring that up is soda. You know, drinking soda is, you look at how much sugar is in one can of soda, and it's just,
It's horrible. Yeah.
it's really, so there was something the other day too that we had bought for our kids. It was, I don't know if it was a candy bar. Gosh, I can't remember now what it was. Or just a snack even. It wasn't candy, but it was some sort of snack. And there was 56 grams of
Wow.
sugar
Yeah.
that my 6-year-old child could have easily, he would have eaten this
Sure would have. Yeah.
snack or bar. I can't remember what it was, and I'm like, that is just absolutely criminal in my mind.
Yeah, we hide sugar everywhere. It is so hard. And again, that's one of the things that you're eliminating or reducing when you move to more whole foods, right? Then you're getting naturally occurring sugar, say, in things like fruit. But when you get a soda, or even look at a lot of the things that are marketed as healthy power bars, granola, protein bars, a lot of these things are just glorified candy bars, and they've got just ridiculous amounts of sugar in them.
Exactly. And I want to say it was some type of bar that my son wanted. And, of course, it tastes really good. But
I bet it does. Yeah.
Do you ever run in working and talking with a lot of folks that are 50 and older? Do you ever run into the attitude or the mentality of, you know what, I'm getting older. You only live so long. I don't want to be miserable for the next 30 years because I'm not eating the things I want to eat. I just want to eat what I want to eat, and whatever happens, happens. Did you ever?
100%. So there's a couple of things to unpack there. And the first is this, and that's that there's this idea that a lot of people say, look, I don't want to be lean, fit, and healthy because I don't want to do what it takes to be that way, or I don't want to do what lean, fit, healthy people do. And people have this impression that people that are fit, lean, healthy just are slaves to the gym. They're in there 6-7 days a week, spending hours doing that, and they're constantly eating salads and never having ice cream and pizza. And nothing could be further from the truth. I mean, personally, right now where I am today, I work out in a gym 3 times a week. I walk every morning, and I eat reasonably healthy. That's basically my routine right now. Now that changes a little bit. I do from time to time get a little crazier. But so that's the first thing. And the second is people oftentimes mistake the cost of going down the path that they're going. Say, well, I don't want to exercise and eat healthy because I'm giving things up. And they think that because they've had this experience with dieting and exercise, that's what it means. I'm a slave to the treadmill and I can only have salads. Well, that sucks. And if my life was like that, I wouldn't do that either.
Right.
So there's a couple of things. The road to getting from, let's say, obese to lean, fit, and healthy, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's a long and sometimes difficult road. However, once one person, a person makes that journey and gets there, maintaining that's actually relatively easy. It's not difficult.
Mhm.
So many of us have had this experience. We've gone on a diet, we've lost some weight, we go off the diet, and go figure, we just gain that weight
Yeah.
back. And
Right.
so most people don't have a problem losing weight. They have a problem maintaining that weight. So I think we just need to shift that mentality from, hey, I need to go on a diet, or I need to start this exercise routine, to I need to take care of myself from a place of self-love. I need to serve myself. I need to have a healthy body in order to enjoy the second half of my life, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I encounter that all the time. People say, well, that just seems so daunting. I don't want to do all that. Meet yourself where you are. Take tiny steps, because even tiny steps stacked on top of each other they can have a huge impact on your life.
Yeah. And again, it goes back to your mission of trying to fight that narrative against it's all downhill from here.
Right.
I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone thinks, oh, geez, I'm 65. Who cares? I want to eat what I want to eat. It's like, no, I want people to hear your message too, from a physical
Right.
standpoint. That
Look, I don't skip dessert. I mean, I don't have it every night, but you know what?
Yeah.
When it's date night and I go to a nice restaurant and they bring out the fancy desserts at the end, I have that. When
Sure.
I have the occasional. It's not like I'm only eating kale smoothies. So I think that's part of. I think that's part of, though, the disconnect is that somebody who's unhealthy thinks, oh, that sounds horrible. I would drink kale smoothies. I never drink kale smoothies. I just don't.
Like I think people, and I know this because I meet with people all the time that are in their mid 50s, late 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s. And, I know they have a lot more in the tank than they think, I think, from a physical standpoint.
Well, look, you had mentioned being 65 and thinking, what the heck? I'm not doing all of that. I interviewed a woman, Shelley Stetner. She's now 71 years old, and she was retiring and was considering how her life was going to go. And she was starting to look at assisted living facilities for her future when somebody introduced her to a gym, to a barbell of all things. And she's thinking, I'm a 65-year-old woman. Why would I a barbell? Are you kidding? She's now setting world record powerlifting records, which is, for folks that don't know, that's a deadlift, a back squat, and a bench press. That's your 1 rep max at each of those. And she's lifting legitimate weights. I mean, she's deadlifting over 300 pounds. She's 71 years old, considered herself a feeble old lady at 65. So It's never too late to start, right? So I just wanted to kind of bring that out as well. Oh, it is amazing. Yeah, she's an incredible woman.
And I just played a round in golf. It was just a golf scramble last week with a client of mine who is 84 years old.
Right on.
And will be 85 very soon. So, and it's just, she plays probably 3 times a week and very consistent, is still able to swing a club, walk around. I mean, golf's not, it's not soccer or basketball or anything like that, but you're walking all over the course. You're swinging. There's a lot of rotation, hips, shoulders, and being 84 years old to be able to do that is pretty incredible. And she, so that was another experience of, wow. When I shared that with a few people around that I know, that they just couldn't believe that she was out there still playing, at that age. And not only was she playing, but she's playing pretty decent.
Playing good. Yeah. Right on. I love it.
So from a workout standpoint, we talked nutrition a little bit, but maybe a couple easy, quick tips. Like you said, frequency. Hey, you work out, you're in the gym 3 days a week.
Yeah.
In terms of where to start, kind of that low-hanging fruit for listeners, what would you say?
I would say, first, if you don't have a walking practice, meaning if you're not getting out and walking every day, start there. So a good rule of thumb is a minimum of 30 minutes of walking a day, especially if you're sedentary, if you sit at a desk mostly for your job. And that doesn't have to be 30 solid minutes, right? That could be 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at lunch, and 10 minutes after. And we'd like to see you build on that, but a minimum of 30 minutes of some kind of walking movement every day. That's just kind of your baseline. If you don't have that today, that's where I'd start. Now, when we talk about aging and age-related muscle loss, once upon a time, I think the research indicated that that's because we saw this phenomenon, right? This correlation. People got older, they lost muscle mass. It seemed like, okay, that seems logical, and we're not designed to live forever, right?
Yep.
But it turns out that's we were inferring causality. We were saying because we were getting old, that's what was making our muscle waste. Turns out that's not true. So we have control over keeping this very valuable type 2 muscle fiber. I don't want to get too far in the weeds, but it's just a way of saying that you can have this metabolically expensive muscle, meaning you're going to burn more muscles just while burn more calories while you're at rest when you build even a modest amount of muscle on your body. So I strongly encourage folks, especially over 50, to have some sort of a strength training practice. Now, that could be barbells. It doesn't have to be. It could be bands. And again, we're going to meet people where they are. If you've got some experience weightlifting, that'd be a great place to start. Sure. But 2 to 3 days a week, 30 to 60 minutes of some sort of strength training program that's properly programmed and is suitable for you is an ideal way to start. If you're walking every day and you're working out 2 to 3 days a week with some weights, you're way ahead of most of the folks in the over 50 crowd.
Absolutely. And I'm the same. I try to work out three days a week. Well, you may work out more, but go to the gym 3 days a week. I try to just work out 3 days a week. And I do very simple exercises. A lot of it's body weight. Mm-hmm. I did spend a lot of time in my past in the weight room, lifting heavy weights. And I don't really like that. But lately, the more consistent I am, I'm starting to think maybe I'll, get into those heavier weights again, because you start to build up muscle and you're like, you need more of a challenge, right? But so important to get just the basics, just to get started. And I think just build a routine.
Yeah, and I think what happens is, again, going back to that, well, I don't want to do that. Even 2 to 3 days a week at the gym sounds horrible. But what happens is people will, I say, do that for 3 months. And watch what happens, because what will happen, whether you love going to the gym or hate going to the gym, is all of a sudden you're going to start feeling better. You're going to be a little less stressed. You're going to sleep a little better. Your libido is going to increase because we're going to be producing a little bit more, a stronger hormonal response. We're going to arrange our hormones in a more youthful manner as we start to build muscle. And lo and behold, we start to feel better. Maybe some of that ache and pain that I had in my knee or my hip or my back starts to ease a little bit. Yeah. And we become a little more confident, right? And just life gets a little better. And really, that's what keeps people going on this journey. Because I think we see so many people hitting the gyms January 1st, but any gym goer knows that we all just have to suffer through January, because guess what? Come February, the gym's going to be right back to where it was the year before. And that's, that's just kind of a sad state of affairs.
No. And like I said, I think it's just getting into a habit but making it sustainable. And It all comes from what you said is, that, hey, I got to take care of myself. I'm just going to commit to taking care of myself. And it's not committing to some diet or some extreme, workout program, but I'm just going to take care of myself and try to establish little habits where I can and build upon those. Everyone I shouldn't say everyone, but I know that a lot of our clients that are listening have built really good habits financially. That's how they've gotten to where they are today, where they can retire. So I know that our clients know how to build those habits. Many of them are, very good physical habits as well, fitness habits, but it's hard. It's different in different areas of life. It may be very easy for me financially to save money, but very hard for me to, go work out or wake up early, or, all things I've struggled with at one point or another. So, like I said, Kevin, people don't realize the impact of the financial impact that that their health has. And like I said, I mentioned life insurance before. Yeah, we may not even get you to be approved if you did need life insurance or long-term care insurance if you're not healthy enough. And that's something that some people out there really need. Drug costs, just out-of-pocket medical expenses as you get closer to retirement and then into retirement. And then it really does translate into assisted living. Like you said, I mean, that story that you mentioned, that lady was close to going into an assisted living facility, which are so expensive. It's one of the biggest,
how she viewed herself. Yeah.
It's one of the biggest expenses in retirement. And it could potentially just derail a lot of people's portfolios and retirement plans if they had to go into a facility. Whereas hey, if you're healthy, you're able to take care of yourself. Man, that is such a big help, and it's equal to hundreds of thousands of dollars to not have to go into a facility like that. And it really, really is. It's
Yeah.
quite astounding.
And there's the whole quality of life as well. Which path would you choose as you're getting older, right? As you get into those older years, do you want to be that 85-year-old out on the golf course enjoying themselves? Or do
Yes.
you want to be, more or less bedbound and sedentary and with a whole bag full of very expensive pharmaceuticals? I mean, that's really the two paths we're talking about. And just like investing, of course, the earlier you start, the better. But just like investing, it's never too late to start. In fact, if you don't do it at all, today is, in fact, the best day to start, right?
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that.
I just love when clients come in and they tell me how their knees are feeling better or their back's feeling better because they've lost 40 pounds, 50 pounds. It's awesome. And I love to see it because I care about them and I want them to feel better. But like you said, just the impact on your joints, which that affects every single day. Every time you get up and walk to the to the kitchen or wherever. I mean, if you have knee pain and maybe you're a little overweight, it's always there for the most part.
Think how that affects just your everyday mood.
Your mood, and I mean your back pain. Trying to
Pretty common.
play with the grandkids or all that stuff. It just kind of is intertwined. So
certainly.
Well, no, this was great, and I was excited to talk about this. Again, it's a little bit of a divergence, but we're all about helping people retire better.
Yep.
And so that's what we want to do. And if they want to learn more information, Kevin, about you or some of your programs through the Silver Edge or listen to your podcast, how can they go about doing that?
Probably the best place to go is silveredgefree.com. So that's silveredgefree.com. And that takes you to a page on my site. It's got a bunch of free downloads. So there's guides on nutrition, guides on getting started on exercise and lifestyle. There's a couple of free assessments that you can find there. There's also links out to my social media, podcast, and everything there. So that's probably the best place to start.
Awesome. So definitely encourage everyone to go to silveredgefree.com. Did I get that right? silveredgefree.com. And feel free to contact our show as well if you'd like more information about Kevin or want to get some resources there. We can remind you where to go to get those, and I'll put those in the show notes as well at retirementpowerhourpodcast.com. Well, Kevin, thank you so much for coming on our show and talking to our audience about these important things that definitely impact our listeners who are just like yours. They're over 50 plus. I enjoyed it. I thought it was super helpful.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I really enjoyed being on here.
Well, for everyone listening, we appreciate you tuning in or watching. And again, you can go to retirementpowerhourpodcast.com to see all of our past shows, view all of our resources, hear this interview for months and months and months, maybe to get yourself motivated a little bit in January, but to keep you motivated throughout the year, right? So with that, I'm Joe Allaria. Again, retirementpowerhourpodcast.com. Go there, check out all of our resources. And until next time, we hope you do well. We'll see you soon. Take care.